Very good. Welcome everyone. Happy to have you all here today. We have some new faces, so that's always very exciting. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules and in summer vacations and all sorts of stuff going on, I know, to join for our meeting today. This is the first of our combined 21st Century Program Director and new grantee slash transitioning staff meetings that we'll be doing for the remainder of the year. Um, but we've changed the time a little bit, so we'll still start at 10. We'll have roughly half an hour to an hour, kind of depending on content for all program directors. And then you are welcome to drop out as we do some additional training and kind of additional support time for our new grantees that we are welcoming this academic year. That's also a good time for new staff to stick around, or if we're covering a specific topic that you just want additional time on, or if you just want to kind of get a refresher on, you're welcome to stay for that. Today we'll be talking a little bit more about stuff that everyone has already done. It's kind of setting up your CASA account and kind of dealing with CASA and the Ed portal. So probably not something anybody wants to stick around for if you don't need that additional training. But CASA is always an interesting and fun thing. I've got quite a bit to cover, so I'm going to go kind of quick. I don't know if I'll necessarily need all of the time for these meetings or for this meeting, but we've reserved quite a bit just in case. For future meetings, I do plan to have like guest speakers and other groups come to join to kind of talk about different things as well. So that will eat up some of the time. But I'm not the type of person that just has meetings to have meetings. So if we don't have a lot to talk about, I will definitely set you loose to get back to your busy schedules. But before we get into kind of too far, I want to spend a little bit of time just doing kind of introductions and kind of getting to know groups. Like I mentioned, this is the first combined meeting that we're doing, and a lot of you are seeing some of our new grantees for the first time. For our newest award cohort, 21, that just started on July 1st and will run for this academic year. We had 12 recipients, which is quite a bit larger than our previous years. A majority of them are repeat groups. So we have Cedar Rapids coming back, Clinton coming back, Council Bluffs, Des Moines Public Schools, and then Easton Valley. Easton Valley added a school. So Easton Valley had been Easton Valley and Andrew Community School Districts. Now they've added Delwood Community School Districts. So that's great. They're a consortium, one of our only consortium groups. And then Oldwine Community School District is also being welcomed back. We have four brand new groups. Denison Community School District is brand new. They actually are starting an entirely new program. So they did not have any program in their community and definitely not through their school district. So that they're brand new and lifting one off the ground. It's a really cool story there where they're going to be hosted at a brand new YMCA building that was just built too. So lots of really cool stuff going on in their community. I don't want to steal their thunder if they want to give a little bit of an intro coming up here shortly. But then we have three brand new community-based organizations that are just joining us. So we have Kingdom Kids of St. Olaf out of the Fort Dodge area. We have Neighborhood Centers of Johnson County out of the Iowa City area, and then Pursuit of Innovation or Pi 515 out of the Des Moines area. So I'm going to kind of call out groups just to go around and kind of do a little bit of intro about you and maybe a little bit about your organization, just so we kind of get to know each other a little bit better. Because we do have, like I said, quite a few new faces and new groups this time around. So without maybe further ado, I'll just go alphabetical and then hopefully we have people from every group here, but we'll start with Cedar Rapids Community School District. I don't know if we have Jen or someone else from their team. Maybe not. Okay, let's go to Clinton Community School District. We have Molly on.
Hi, friends. So I'm with the Clinton School District. As you can see, I look like a tomato. I am burnt really bad. So I'm home today, but I hold a 250 person camp every day on behalf of the grant. So my Monday through Thursdays are really busy, but I have been with the district for about going on 5 years now. Very grateful to be a ongoing recipient for the grant, and I just love serving roughly about 1,000 kids a year. So I love it. We have a good time. And
Great.
welcome to all the new people. Welcome.
Great. Happy to have you back. Yep. Then we have Council Bluffs. So we have Tanny, I think I saw.
Hi, yes, my name's Tawny Harris. I'm the director for Council Bluffs Schools for 21st Century. This is my first school year with being a director, and I'm really excited to have a fresh start. In Council Bluffs, we've had this grant for, I think, 10 plus years, but we have it in every building, all 15 buildings in our school district, so we're really excited to just celebrate that this year and kind of just share with the community that we are able to serve all these kids in Council Bluffs.
Very good. Happy to have you on board. I don't know if I see anybody from Denison. Is Kim on? I don't think so. Okay. Yeah. So like I mentioned, I already kind of gave a little bit about them, but they're a brand new program. So I know they're in the process of hiring staff and kind of getting everything ready for the school year. But excited to have them joining and having a brand new program. And then I know I saw Claudia from Des Moines Public Schools.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm Claudia Young. I'm the project coordinator for Des Moines Public Schools. We have 14 sites, serve about 1,400 students, currently elementary, but we are going to branch into some middle schools. Super excited about that. Just looking forward to a great year.
Very good. Then I think I saw Andrea. Oh, Andrea said she can't speak. But yeah, so Andrea is here from Easton Valley, and like I mentioned, they're a consortium. It's Easton Valley, Andrew, and Delwood. So excited to have them. They're a prior grantee, but they expanded. They added another school district, and so they've expanded. So really, really cool stuff going on there. A brand new group, Kingdom Kids of St. Olaf. Do we have anybody from their group? I think.
Good morning, Joe.
Oh, there's
Hi,
Kathy.
this
Yep.
is Kathy.
Mhm.
We've got our leadership team with us this morning. It's myself and Sherry Morrid and Keely Draper. She's our on-site supervisor, and Sherry's our assistant director. We are a fairly new center in Fort Dodge. We opened a little over 2 years ago. We have a small after-school group and are working to expand that. So we're excited to be able to partner.
Yeah, happy to have you on board. Very good. Another new group, the Neighborhood Centers of Johnson County.
Hi, I'm Rachel Rockwell. I'm Executive Director for Neighborhood Centers of Johnson County. We're a nonprofit organization that partners with the city and the county and the school district and have done so for 53 years now. We have partnered with the school district on 21st Century grant programming with after-school programs in the schools over the past several years. So this is the first time that we are managing this grant and doing this on our own in partnership in our own space as we have opened up a new center in a new neighborhood that's in need in Iowa City, Iowa. We'll serve about 70 kids with this new grant.
Very good. I think you had another member of your team on.
Ray Keisha, maybe?
Yes.
She's also at the front desk right now, so she
Oh,
might
okay.
be multitasking for sure.
Okay, no worries. Then we have Olwine. I don't know if we had anybody from Olwine on the call. No, maybe not. How about Pi 515? I think I saw Madeline.
Yes, hello. Happy to be here. My name is Madeline, and I am primarily the grant writer, but very happy to be a part of this program. Pursuit of Innovation, we go by Pi 515, is a nonprofit in the Des Moines area. We're a little different than I think a lot of you because we do after school programming for high schoolers predominantly. Some middle school, but mostly high school. And it involves a lot of relationships with employers in the area and getting students work-based learning opportunities, as well as hosting our own kinds of programming related to technology, professional development, STEM skills, scholarship, working towards college applications, all that kind of stuff. So we're really happy to be here.
Yeah, great. Happy to have you. So I will just call out based on the chat box. So Katie from Fairfield.
You are going to have to deal with my dogs barking like crazy because someone just came down the driveway and will not stop. I'm sorry. But I am Katie from Fairfield Community School District. This is going to be our 9th year with the grant, 4th year in our second grant cycle. We are running kindergarten through 4th grade and doing great. Everything is looking good for the year. I'm going to be hiring a new site supervisor because one of mine retired, but everything else is going good.
Great. And we've got Lynn from Storm Lake.
Hi, everybody. Lynn Redenbaugh, Program Director for our pre-K through 8th grade after-school programs. We have 21st Century grants that serve our K through 8 kiddos, and we've been doing this now 26 years. Along with I've been doing it 26 years, so I've been around a while. We have about 300 kids after school every day and 150 served in the morning programs.
Very good. All right. Who do I have next? Kristen Clayton from Oak Ridge.
Yeah, Kristen Clayton from Oak Ridge neighborhood. I'm in our business office, so handle kind of more of the financial management of the grant. But I think is Colleen on here from Oak Ridge? She could talk more from the programming side of things if she's available.
Yes, Colleen Johnson here, Associate Director here in the Youth Department at Oak Ridge. I've been here 21 years. 21st Century is a wonderful thing, allows us to do many things. We are in the middle of our summer programming, serving grades kindergarten through high school. We have Oak Futures, which is our summer work youth program. We employ about 35 youth ranging from 14 to 21. They assist in many areas within our camp, and they also assist outside agencies. Wonderful program. And then our after school program as well. We're all year round, out of school time for winter break, summer camp, spring break, you name it. We do it. Thank you.
Great. Happy to have you both here. So how about is it Danielle from Central Lee?
Good morning. Yes, I'm Danielle. I am the site coordinator at Central Lee Community School District. We serve K through 6. Right now, we're in the middle of our summer program. This is actually our last day for our summer program, so it's been a little chaotic here today. But normally during the school year, we have roughly about 100 kids to 120, and we're all year round, in-service days, spring break, all the stuff, and we love it.
Very good. And I see Stacy from Lamoni.
Good morning. I'm the school business manager for Lamoni, so I kind of oversee more of the financial side of it. Our program is offered for K through 5 before and after school. We do a summer program as well. I don't believe our director is on. This is her second year in that position, so we really like the program and look forward to continuing it.
Great. And then Caitlin Schmidt.
Hello, I've had all sorts of my computer is at the computer doctor right now, so I'm just flying by with what technology I have. I'm Caitlin Schmidt, Director of Development and Operations at St. Mark Youth Enrichment, and we're located in Dubuque. So we're a community-based organization. We've been around for like 36 plus years, and I honestly don't know how long of the history of 21st has overlapped, but it's certainly been several years, as long as I've been here for 10 plus years. So we're very grateful, and that supports our after school programs in Dubuque. Previously, we've had it for our summer programs and for our more rural Western Dubuque programs, but right now we're entering our third year of the current cohort that we are in for our after school programs. Very grateful.
Great. Happy to have you. And then Jacqueline.
Hi, I'm Jackie Delaney from Andrew Community School. I'm with Easton Valley and our new partner, Delwood. This is Delwood's first year in the program. This is Easton Valley's and Andrew's 6th year, so our first year of our second grant, which we were all excited about. And we'll be working closely together, the three of us, to get Delwood's program up and running.
Yeah, very cool. How about Charles from Athletics for Education and Success?
It's Charles. I'm with APHIS out of Fort Dodge. We've been around the community about 25 years. We do year-round programming, pre-K through 8th grade, and also employ some high school kids. And just to the St. Olaf's people, I'm not an expert, but I did get through my first year unscathed. So if you've got questions, feel free to reach out and give me a call.
Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Charles. Yeah, Charles was brand new. They had a brand new group last year, so he did a really good job. Very good. Nikki Olson from Audubon.
Hi there. My name is Nikki Olson. I'm the new principal at Audubon Elementary, and we are in Audubon, Iowa, which is in western Iowa, small town. We have an after-school and summer program that we call Launch. We have about 80 kids in grades kindergarten through 4th grade that attend, and I think this is about our 10th year, and it fills a huge need in our small community, and it's going really well.
Great. How about Keely from Fort Madison?
Hi, I'm on summer vacation actually, so I'm chasing around 2 under 2. But I'm at Fort Madison Community Schools. This is our 4th year of our program. We run before and after school programming for somewhere around 150 to 175 kids.
Very good. How about Sybil from Burlington?
Good morning, everyone. Sybil McIntyre. I'm the grants coordinator for the district, and we have actually 2 grants with the 21st Century Program. Long history in our community of the grants, and I'm going into almost my 2nd year with the district. So we serve over 270 students. We have 4 elementary buildings and an intermediate school that we host our after school program in. And we just started about a week and a half ago the new season of enrolling families. And we have over 250 applications already. So it has been a wonderful start to the school year. I can't believe I'm saying it already. Welcome to all the new folks. Really, really outstanding to see that we've got so many new awards across the state. Fills such a tremendous need for families with that after school time to allow them to have this really wonderful opportunity to have their children in our hands and for us to be able to do the work we do. So great to see everybody, and welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, good news about the enrollments. That's great. I see a couple more people. So we have Joe Maloney.
Good morning. My name is Joe Maloney. I'm the activities director in Dubuque Schools, and part of my role is I oversee our 21st Century Grant programming, which is exclusively in two of our three middle schools. So working with sixth, seventh, and eighth graders for after-school programming with multiple community partners and staff that take part in that programming to provide services for students after school.
Very good. Happy to have you. Madeline from Boys and Girls Club, Central Iowa.
Hello. Yes. I'm the grants and data coordinator here at Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Iowa. We've been a part of the Des Moines area for a little over 60 years. I've been kind of in charge of 21st Century for the last 2 years, but I know that we've had the grant for quite a few years before then. So.
Great. Yeah, happy to have you. We have another Boys and Girls Club representative, this one of the Cedar Valley. So Brian.
Yeah, Brian Burton. I'm the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Cedar Valley. And we have been with 21st Century longer than I've been here, and it's been 10 years. The Boys and Girls Club of Cedar Valley is celebrating 60 years this year. And without 21st Century, I don't know we'd be still able to do what we do. Currently, we're running our summer program. We also run an after-school program. During the school year, we have 270 kids a day. Summer, right now, we're looking just about 230. And our total enrollment is just under 1,000.
Oh, great. And then last but certainly not least, I see Jason Allen from Des Moines Public Schools. I don't know if Jason can talk. Did I miss anyone? I think that's everyone. Okay, I think that's it. Go ahead and throw your name in the chat box if you had, and that helps. I'll kind of go back to review that in addition to my notes just for attendance purposes. So throw your name in there if you haven't already. I'll kind of refer back to that like I mentioned. So great, yeah, and something I've been kind of working on, I hope to unveil soon, is the placement of like a map on our website to help groups kind of understand where they're placed throughout the state. As you heard, we kind of have groups all over the place: Western Iowa, Eastern Iowa, Northern, Southern, kind of all over the place. And I would say definitely reach out to one another if you got questions or if you have ideas you want to bounce off one another. I'm happy to help connect you if you have a question like, is anybody doing this or has anybody done that? I'll do my best to try to connect groups together to try to kind of learn from each other and so forth. But I want to try to do more to try to make it more clear kind of where groups are located and contact information, just to better connect you all to with one another, but also to try to help get the word out to partners and sponsors and other groups. Just so when they go to our site, it's a little difficult to find who receives funding currently and kind of where they're located. I would love to have an interactive map so groups can more easily identify who in my community is available and kind of getting funding and how can we maybe partner or support each other, et cetera. So working on a map to try to help make that more clear, because we do have really good representation across the state in different groups as well, different types of groups, sizes, et cetera. So a very diverse group. We had new awardee and kind of staff orientation sessions in early July here, so over the last couple weeks. I know we had some new staff join in addition to our new grantees. If anyone is curious about those sessions and wants to view those recordings, I'm not posting those publicly, but I'll share the direct link if anybody wants to look at those videos or kind of review them. It really was kind of a broad overview of the Iowa 21st Century program and some things to keep in mind as programs are kind of getting up to speed and kind of important deadlines. It was very generalized. So as you all know, throughout the year, we'll do additional trainings and do additional kind of processes and procedures leading up to some of our required deadlines, either state or federal things that we have going on, some of which we'll talk a little bit more about here today. But let me know, and I'm happy to share some of that information with you all, the slide deck, the recordings, and some of the materials that we shared with our new programs and grantees. But those went really well. It's always kind of difficult because there's a lot to cover in these federal programs. A couple of quick updates on from a federal Department of Education standpoint and kind of funding. We received our official grant award notice. We call it a GAN. You might hear me reference that acronym from time to time. But we did receive our official grant award notice here in July is generally when we get kind of our preliminary funding announcement. Congress will go kind of back and forth with the actual funding kind of here in the September, October timeframe before it gets finalized and formalized into law. But we do have that at least initial acknowledgement that we have funding for next school year. So that's always good. Yay. Always nice to see because you just don't know kind of the current state of things, what's going on with funding. I will say that the recommended or the proposed funding bills coming out of the White House and kind of being debated largely keep 21st century funding alone this time around. Last year, it was targeted for some pretty major changes. This time around, it's not as much. I think part of that is just how well groups really kind of localize and form to really get out and advocate for your programs and just broad bipartisan support that we saw last time. So this time around, there isn't maybe as much worry from the national after-school community about issues with funding. But as you know, federal funding is never guaranteed. So something that we're watching very closely, but also something, again, that is always good for you all to keep in mind to maybe reach out to your state or your local representatives just to kind of help tell a story about the community impact that you have and the services that you provide, just to make sure when we're talking about tightening belts and budgets and so forth, that they know what a service you provide and the value that you return within your community in different ways. But excited to see that official notice come in. It was late last year. That also kind of made people a little concerned, but it was right on time this year. So that's always nice. Another quick update. We are hosting a regional state coordinators meeting here at the illustrious Department of Education in Des Moines next week. And we'll have my counterparts from Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin. There will not be anybody from the Federal Department of Education, but we will have some representatives from the NTAC group, which is the National Technical Assistance Center. Those of you who have received this funding before, you're familiar with them because they always come to the Impact After School Conference and they do some different workshops and best practices and all sorts of different stuff. But they're putting that on and they're going to be here next week. I didn't know if anybody had any questions about kind of how after school is funded in these other states or anything that you'd want me to ask during that meeting. It's really just kind of a way for the groups that make up each of the regions, which we have a kind of a weird region. It's kind of just this weird, kind of almost jelly bean shape at the top of the top of the Midwest. But I don't know if anybody has any questions you'd want me to ask either that technical assistance group or some of these other states. I wanted to kind of open it up if anybody had anything, or if you've heard of cool things happening in these states that I can bring up during the meeting to kind of gather some info. Okay,
Hey Joe, this is
yep.
Sybil. I put something in the chat. We just are in our 5th year in one of our grants. So obviously we have a significant challenge with our budget, right? Always having to keep that in check. So just collaboration and cost sharing, possibly with other states if they have maybe some really great trainings that maybe they would be willing to share with us. And that doesn't mean that we couldn't do it internally, but just something to think about to share costs across a region. Zoom's available for everybody.
Right. No, love the idea. Yeah, always looking for ways to share and be more efficient with time and resources. So yeah, I can bring that up. I will mention, and I don't know if I have it on the webinar. Or on the agenda. I was maybe going to bring it up next time, but I have worked out an agreement with this NTAC group, the National Technical Assistance Center, where they're going to be providing more consistent webinars for us, just as a state, to cover different topics. As you may recall, I had sent out a very informal professional development survey just to kind of look at kind of needs and what groups were wanting to learn more about. So I'm working with them to provide monthly webinars, virtual sessions, free of charge, just to cover some of those topics that we had identified, most of which relies on sustainability, kind of, funding, sustainability, partnerships, and so forth. So that is going to kick off with an in-person session in September at our directors meeting, and then going to continue, I want to say, for 6 or 7 sessions, 6 or 7 months thereafter. So I'll be unveiling that here shortly, but that is something that they'll be doing to provide kind of context from other states that they've supported as well, in different topic areas. But yeah, excited about that. Very good. Any other questions about that meeting or things that you'd like me to ask this national consultant, kind of best practices consultant, or these other states that might be joining from our region?
Hey, Joe, is it possible maybe just to get if this doesn't already exist, maybe a contact list of, that people could maybe follow up with that might be helpful, and maybe even in different states? I don't think they do have anything like a national archived list of something like that, but I just know that sometimes that's helpful,
Yeah.
especially if you are thinking about, you've exhausted everything here and you're looking at other options.
Yeah. I could take a look. I know, I want to say on the federal Department of Ed, they list like the state contact for each state, but maybe not the actual grantees. You got to do like kind of some digging to find that information. But maybe let me take a look if there's a more kind of an easier database of recipients and that you can access. Okay. Yeah, let me take a look. Very good. Yeah, so we're looking forward to hosting that next week, and I'll kind of keep my ears open, and I'm always trying to find kind of some of those best practices or free resources or good training that we can do here in Iowa. If you have any other thoughts leading up to Tuesday, go ahead and shoot me an email or send me a text or give me a call and just say, yeah, I had heard in Michigan they do, whatever, or in Indiana that they do this. So definitely let me know if anything kind of piques your interest or if there's anything you want me to bring up with the group. Very good. In terms of federal, kind of keeping with the federal theme, we have the annual federal reporting. I just wanted to give a quick update. And again, we'll talk about this maybe a little bit more detail next meeting in our August directors meeting. But the window for entering data for the 21 APR federal reporting system is going to be opening up here in mid-August. So you're welcome to begin entering some of that data if you have it already and you want to kind of get a jump on it. That's really not due until November, though, mid-November. So I know a lot of groups are still maybe collecting data, analyzing data. This is also where you're maybe working with your local program evaluator for a lot of your local program evaluations that are due in November each year as well, because it's the same data that your local evaluator is gathering and assisting with and kind of assessing with you. So I know a lot of groups generally maybe wait till September, October, even November timeframe to submit the data, but it will open here in late August for anybody who's interested. There aren't any changes this year. And remember, this is for last academic year. So for our new grantees, you don't have to really do anything with the federal reporting stuff this year. But our grantees that were new last year, I know some of you will be going through that for the first time this year. So again, we'll spend a bit more time talking about it next session. And then I'm happy to go offline for our new groups as well if you want to talk through a little bit more. But you'll be reporting on last school year. And the first kind of data dump that you have is dealing really with kind of more of the activities, enrollments, staffing that you had. It's more of the kind of quantitative stuff and participation rates, stuff like that, as you can see on the screen. Whereas the data that you report near the end of the year and early next year is more on the outcomes, and I'll do some processes and working with you to certify that data. But that's looking at some performance measures. So did your groups experience academic growth? So did GPAs grow from year to year? Did you have an improvement in behavioral interventions at school for your students? And this is where we're really trying to help explain the value and the impact that the funding is having within your community and on your students. So is it having a positive impact in helping those students learn and grow in different ways, academically, behaviorally, et cetera? So still quite a bit more time to really work with your local district on that information and to gather that, but they do chunk it up a little bit. It's often quite a bit easier to get the activities, kind of the quantitative stuff that's due earlier, but maybe a little bit more work to try to identify the other stuff that's due later in that window. But again, that's November through March is that second data entry window. Good. So to shift gears real quick and go to the kind of state stuff that's going on, we have our assurances and contracts that I need groups to answer and upload into the CASA system. I put a due date of today, really July 24th. It looked like a couple of groups had not done that yet. I'm going to work with our brand new grantees after this to kind of go through that process and kind of do step by step, kind of what it looks like, because you're maybe new to the CASA system and trying to figure that out. But a couple of groups, if you could please jump in there, or if you don't know what you're doing, you can hang out and we can do that together with the new grantees. But this is a very basic process to go into the CASA system for the 26-27 school year, answer a series of, I want to say it's 5 essentially program quality assurance questions, just saying that you're going to, have a safe environment, you're going to provide good academic rigor, stuff like that. Stuff that you had already agreed upon in your application and in the contract, but it's just something that we have to do every year within the CASA system. And then upload a copy of your signed contract, which if you don't have a copy of that, I can get that to you. It's just a formal process that we have every year that we have to answer again, those assurance questions and then upload a copy of your contract within the CASA system to then unlock your funds for this year. So something that, again, I know most of you have already done. It's rather painless, but we do have a couple of groups that have not completed that yet. Are there any questions on that process or that requirement? Okay. Put that up. Fourth quarter claims and carryover funds. So we are finally done with our fourth quarter claims. I know I worked with a number of you. Oh, go ahead. Oh, I see Lenny is joined from Oak Ridge. Lenny, welcome.
Thanks.
Yep.
I was teaching, so I had to kind of break away from the kids.
Gotcha. Yep. I know that happens. So yeah, happy to have you. So we have our fourth quarter claims are finally done. I think everything's been approved. I know I worked with a number of you on some kind of things, either charges that I didn't understand or that we had kind of worked on. I will say something that has come up a couple of times is the purchase of technology. So I know I've talked about this quite a bit. I am open to you purchasing different types of technology to support your students, particularly academic growth, and if they're needing to do homework or receive tutoring or access educational apps. Maybe you need to purchase some new tablets or Chromebooks or whatever that happens to be. That's definitely something that I'm open to approving, but it is something that I need to review ahead of time. So we had a couple of instances where groups maybe didn't realize that and they purchased technology and we ran into some problems with that. So please try to remember, if you want to purchase technology, there is a form that I need you to fill out. And it really kind of goes through the who, where, what, whys, and hows of why you need that technology, and just trying to better understand how much it's going to cost. And again, the kind of the purpose and value and kind of the goals of that technology. And then I will review that, work with you on it, and then provide an approval by email. So you have something to refer back to, but please, please, please do that before you purchase any technology, because I would hate for groups to purchase stuff and then we can't reimburse you for it. It's something that we would not have approved or is not allowed because this is a federal education program. So try to make sure if you're doing anything, even if you're just brainstorming, shoot me an email and we can kind of go through that process together before we get too far kind of down the rabbit hole into identifying tech needs and what you might be able to purchase and not purchase and so forth. So something to keep in mind. But fourth quarter claims, glad we're done, wrapped up the year. Everybody's hopefully will be reimbursed relatively quickly here. I think we have a couple of more days for our internal team to kind of review things and fix things. So probably not another month or so before reimbursements actually make it out to you. But I know generally by the end of the year, we're a little bit quicker. The beginning of the year takes kind of a long time, unfortunately. First quarter claims are always painfully slow, but fourth quarter, second, third, and fourth generally have sped up quite a bit. Are there any questions about your fourth quarter claims? No? Okay. Carryover funds. I am reviewing your carryover funds. So as we start loading your budgets for this next year into the CASA system, I know a number of you had requested maybe additional carryover over what we generally allow of 15%. If I did not receive any of that information, that's probably where I'm going to just cap your groups. Some groups had more than that, and we're just not able to carry over quite as much year over year. So I'll be reaching out if you did have way more than that, or if I didn't hear from you ahead of time, because that again was something that we needed to really review and discuss and approve before we allow a certain amount of carryover to go through. So I'll be reaching out again if there's groups that I did not hear from, and then you do have maybe a large amount of carryover. If we're having a large amount year over year, that might be something we need to look at and try to identify if maybe we don't have our budget kind of figured out, or maybe if things have changed is quite a bit more than from our initial application that was approved. Maybe there's some changes we need to make to our funding amount or to our budgets and try to identify ways to better spend that funding down. Because we do have limitations on how much we can move forward from year to year, and there is a time limit on when we can spend those funds each year. So something that we don't want to run into issues with at the federal level if we're having such large amounts of carryover each year. But again, I'll be kind of reaching out if there's any issues there. So Jason, that's a great question. Jason asks if groups essentially, I think we're not using their funds, can we kind of redistribute that to other groups? There is potential for that, but it's something that we need to look at. Again, if we run into issues, some of the funding has a time limit of when it expires at the federal level. So that's something, unfortunately, that we run into where we maybe are not going to have enough time to spend that down if we did try to redistribute it. But something that does happen from time to time. If there's a group, like I know in the past we've had where groups have maybe cut their funding or ended their contract halfway through the year, and then we've had additional funding, so we've opened it up to the rest of the groups. But if we're running up to that at the end of the fiscal year, at the end of the contract, I'm not sure we're always going to have enough time to open it back up and have groups use it. But let me take a look and I'll get back to the group. It's a great question. Again, I love that you guys are always trying to find how do we use more funding that might be available. Okay, very good. I'll take a look at that. Very good. I think by and large, most of you do a great job of spending your funding down, and that's great. We definitely want it to be spent in the year that we get it, so we don't have any issues with carryover. I would hate to have to send money back, right? Yeah, because I know a lot of your groups could use a lot more money, and I wish I had more money to give to groups. Very good. So the Impact After School Conference, I know we've talked about this a couple of times. I wanted to bring it back up because it is fast approaching. I have a link in the agenda for you to click on. This is something that We expect one member from each of your teams to attend each year. It's always hosted in the Des Moines area, or at least most of the time it's hosted in the Des Moines area. This year, it's being hosted in the Iowa Historical Building, which is in the East Village of kind of east of downtown. Really cool area, and that's a really cool building. We had hosted it at the Drake, or the Iowa After School Alliance had hosted it at the Drake University campus for a number of years, but I know they switched locations this year. If you have not registered as a member of your team yet, I would strongly reach out to your group and kind of figure out who's going to attend and so forth and get registered. Because I had been told by Heidi from the After School Alliance that because it's a little bit of a smaller venue, they're maybe not going to have as large of an enrollment as in the past. So I would hate for it to fill up and then you're not able to attend. It's a very good conference and generally has a lot of really great sessions. We will be hosting an in-person directors meeting at the Iowa Department of Education. That's really just up the street from that location, so not very far, about a mile, I want to say, maybe not even quite that. It's a really kind of nice location in relation to the Capitol building and in the Capitol complex where we are located. So we will host our in-person meeting. Those of you who have received this funding before know that we generally do an in-person meeting the day before the conference, but it's usually at the conference venue. But this year, because of the changing relationship with the After School Alliance and no longer having a contract with them, we're hosting it by ourselves, the directors meeting at the Iowa Department of Education the day before. As I already mentioned, we will have members from the National Technical Assistance Center join for that and provide a workshop. I believe it's about sustainability or maybe funding. I'll have to take a look at what they had kind of queued up. But we will have that as part of the meeting that afternoon before. I'm still looking at the timeline, but it's either going to be kind of 1 to 3 or maybe 2 to 4, something in that vein, but in the afternoon. So hopefully anybody that needs to travel from outside the area is able to get here and then can join for that meeting before or maybe after getting checked into your hotels for that overnight stay. If you're within driving distance, of course, you don't have to stay the night or anything, but I know if you're attending the after school conference the day before and it starts at kind of 8:30, 9 o'clock, driving could be a little tricky depending on how long or how far out you are. And as a quick reminder, your travel expenses are covered for that conference as well as the registration by your own personal 21st Century funds. So that's something to keep in mind. We do not have a separate bucket of money at the state that we provide to pay for that for you, but it is something that you can use your awarded funds to pay for. So definitely something that we want you to be able to take advantage of. Are there any questions about the after school conference on September 17th or the in-person directors meeting the day before on the 16th? Okay. Looking forward to the conference. As in past conferences, I'll be doing a session about 21st Century and kind of answering questions. And I think we might even have a table kind of in the lobby area just to chat with groups about the funding program and so forth. So we're still kind of working that out, but definitely going to be at the conference in addition to the directors meeting the day before. I have kind of a standing reminder here that the Iowa21cclc.com site has ended. If you try to go there, I think it just says it wasn't renewed or it doesn't exist anymore, something like that. But we essentially have taken all of the content from that site and now have it on our kind of a more internal or kind of less formal Google site that you can access. I know I've shared that link before. And then again, we have a number of our session recordings and some of our previous best practice webinars are all on our YouTube channel that you can access as well. Just to kind of go back and review things. So we didn't really lose any content. It just kind of is a different feel and a different look and something that I'm going to continue to update in the kind of year ahead to look better and kind of have more functionality to better mirror that Iowa21cclc.com site, but also potentially some additional functionality that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to remember. I know I've received a couple of questions about the local program evaluations. So as a quick reminder, that's a requirement that we have every year. Similar to the federal reporting, you will be evaluating your prior school year. So I know a number of you are maybe contracting with your local program evaluators or starting to work with your local program evaluators on the necessarily data, and kind of some of them want to really get a jump start on it to get it done earlier. Your local program evaluations are due in November, so something we'll talk about more maybe at the next program directors meeting. But I am in the process of updating the forms. So as you may recall, we have a required form that you need to have your local program evaluator follow and fill out. The updates for that this year are pretty minimal. It's really just updating dates. If you can imagine year to year, it will kind of change some of the dates. But if you need that, I'm working with our team to get that posted on our site. If you need that more urgently, or if you need it more quicker, let me know and I'll email that to the group. But it's really just a minor update to the forms that have been used in the past. And then similar to the federal reporting, this is something that, again, is on the prior school year. So our new grantees, it's not something that you're going to need to worry about this year. But I know some of our other groups, or if you're a new staff, it's something I can talk with you offline about, kind of what that looks like, the form, the process, and so forth. We will also host a virtual training in October to run through the program evaluation process, particularly for anybody that is new. So if you've hired someone that you want to do the program eval and they've never done it before, we will do a virtual training in October that's open to the public to just kind of walk through the local evaluation form and the process and kind of what we're looking for, what we need, some things to keep in mind, that sort of stuff. That's generally done in the October timeframe. So that's something that, again, we'll talk quite a bit more about as we get closer to that. But I know some of you who've hired and employed the same evaluator year over year. Some of them are pros at this point. They maybe don't need that training. They just need the forms to kind of get the ball rolling. I will have that hopefully updated on our website relatively quickly here. And then otherwise, shoot me an email and I'll get you the new form. Are there any questions about the local program evaluation process and requirements? Okay. Are there any questions that I haven't covered, or anything that we wanted to talk about before we end our program directors meeting and then kick off our new grantee meeting? Okay. Not hearing anything. I welcome you all to stay on if you want to go through kind of some CASA stuff and some things we're going to cover with the new grantees, but otherwise you're welcome to drop out. Feel free to shoot me an email, text, whatever, if you want to talk about anything else that we didn't cover today, or if you had any questions that we just weren't able to kind of cover for whatever reason. Happy to go offline and chat with all of you. Otherwise, have a great weekend. It sounds like it's going to be pretty nice weather, kind of iffy today, but again, thanks for taking time to jump on the meeting here today, and looking forward to keep working with you all. Thank you. So we've got some people dropping out here. I'll maybe just hop in the interest of time. We're doing good on time. This one was a little bit longer than our usual program directors meetings. I tend to kind of try to get through quickly. This one was maybe a little bit longer just with all the introductions and everything. But just had a couple of things I wanted to talk about with our new grantees. And I'm going to maybe switch screens. One of the aspects I know I've been emailing about, I wanted to talk a little bit about your Ed Portal access, and then also CASA. So the CASA system, which I know I've asked a couple of tasks of each of you as the new grantees. So I was going to maybe go through a quick kind of visual what that looks like with everyone. So let me share a different screen. Let me see if this works. I thought I was going to share my screen. And let me get rid of this. So can everybody see the Ed portal, or it's like kind of a weird Iowa Department of Education gray background, blue? Yep. Okay. Very good. So this is our beautiful Ed portal that you'll go into to access the CASA system, which is kind of a mouthful. It's like a centralized application system, blah, blah, blah. But that is a system that our school districts primarily use to manage all of their federal funding throughout the year, in addition to a number of other things that they need to submit, data and other things. So if you're not a school system or school district, you've never probably heard of this or seen this. But the Ed portal, so you had kind of two assignments. The first one was to go and request access within the Ed portal to get access to the just kind of the centralized system. Then, once you got access to your Ed portal, there was a process to request access to CASA. Unfortunately, this is something we used to be able to do for you, but for whatever reason, they've made it a little bit more difficult. So I'll kind of walk through if anybody has not gotten access to CASA, I'll maybe show that to you real quick. But once you have the Ed portal signed up, you would go, and mine might look a little bit different from yours, but you would go to where it says My Profile, way in the right-hand side of the screen. You click on that, and this will say your information, and it probably won't have much down here in terms of roles, but you would kind of scroll down. Let's see here. I thought it said request roles, but you must have to click edit. Yep. Okay. So I jumped ahead. So I click edit. Then down at the bottom, I click request roles. And I think I gave you these instructions. It just didn't have any visuals. So I just wanted to kind of show you the visual real quick. And then application, I would click on CASA. And then in roles, a majority of you will do CASA submit in here somewhere. Unless I told you otherwise, school districts are a little bit different, but our community-based organizations, you're going to look a little bit different. And like Lenny, I know Oak Ridge, you guys already have everybody signed up for this, so you maybe don't have to do this. Nikki, I don't know if you've been given this access. You have? Okay, very good. Yeah, it's a lot easier for our schools that have been set up for a long time, or if you have accounts. But this is what you will do, and then you'll click request roles. I'm not going to click it, but then our CASA team on the back end will kind of work to just make sure you have access. Are there any questions about that? I'll show you the CASA system here shortly, but does that make sense to everybody? That kind of what it looks like? Yeah, it's not, it's a government site. It doesn't look great, but it's not terrible. And then once you have access, like on my screen, you'll see it just pop up. When you go into Ed Portal and log in, it will just have its own little tab over here that you can click on. So I will click on CASA. Again, this is going to look very different for you because I have access to every school district and like millions of groups in here. So depending on what it looks like, I'll kind of show you what the process I go through, but you might just have it sitting right here. I'm going to click on Consolidated App. Well, sorry, real quick. Something that trips people up is over on the side over here, there's a date range that'll show information for. Because we're talking about the 26-27 school year, you will have to click the drop down to do that. If you're brand new, this might default to 26-27, but if you're not, it will still show you information that you maybe had for the prior school year. But I would click on that, and then I would click you might be able to just click application and waivers in here, but I'm going to click consolidated app. And then you should see somewhere on your screen, maybe the only thing, Title IV Part B, 21st Century Community Learning Centers. And then I would click application or applications. And then again, because you're the only school, you would click on it, I think directly. I'm going to just click Cedar Rapids here because it will look different because I have access to all of you. And then if you just scroll down to the bottom, this kind of runs through a timeline, which is very helpful. But if you scroll way down to the bottom, you should see somewhere, I thought I was going to bring it up for you. You should see somewhere where it talks about assurances, program assurances. And then, so Cedar Rapids has already done it. If there's no information in the contact box, which I gave you, again, kind of, I think I gave you visuals of how to do this. You would need to enter information there, or it won't, I don't think it will let you go to the next, but you would click data entry. And then again, this is very, very basic, but it's a requirement we have of the federal government of doing this each year. But it just basically says, are you going to operate in a safe environment? You know, are you going to do kind of essentially what you said you were going to do on your application? And we just have to do this year over year. That's kind of a pain. If you're not sure what they mean, reach out. But like this one's a little confusing. Section 1114, that has to do with serving kids in poverty. So that 40% free and reduced lunch, which again, we would not have approved your application if you weren't already doing that or saying that you're going to do that. But just go through and take a look. You do have to answer yes to all of these, otherwise it won't allow it. And then at the bottom, you would click upload here or select files, and this is where you would just upload a copy of your signed contract. So again, if you don't have that, I can share that with you, but you would upload it, and then I think it pops a green button. It says like mark complete or submit or something like that. And then that would complete the process for you. Relatively painless. It's just a number of steps that you have to go through. If you don't have CASA access yet, reach out and I can kind of walk through. We can maybe even do it together on Zoom if you're kind of not seeing what I say should be there. But it's something I can help kind of walk you through. But I think everybody should have Ed Portal access. It's just adding the CASA can be a little bit of a pain to do. Are there any questions about the Ed Portal or the CASA system and this process of assurance questions? Okay. Those were my two big assignments for you as of right now. Very good. I'm going to maybe stop the recording for now, and we can just kind of have an open dialogue if anybody wants to just kind of chat. But I'll just stop the